How is it that we all hate doing real chores, but yet we enjoy doing virtual chores and gobble them up like they're going out of style? Animal Crossing has a massive following, and they only show up when a new Animal Crossing is being hinted at, and once it's out, they disappear like cockroaches when the lights are turned on. Not in a bad way. And this is going to be my first official foray into Animal Crossing. But it's not the first Animal Crossing that I played. The first one was Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS, and I played it for maybe a total of 30 minutes. I just found it boring, and I didn't like what I was doing, I didn't like the look of my character, and I didn't want to unlock the character customization thing because it seemed like it was going to be way too much effort for what it was worth. I couldn't find a way to make revenue easily and make the town better, and I just felt like I wasn't given much instruction on what to do. It almost ruined the franchise for me. New Horizons, on the other hand, got me pretty addicted to it. The game is graphically cute and hasn't really changed over the years, just higher polygon counts. The music is something to be desired, while fitting for the game, and yeah, it's supposed to be a calming, relaxing type of thing. It just doesn't click for me. Even the KK Slider songs don't tickle my fancy, and while I have a bunch of them, I mostly just have the disco song going because it's the only one I prefer over all the others. Animal Crossing, like previous games, is designed to be slow and casual. It's been called a community simulator when it really feels more like a garden simulator because you really can't do much community-wise other than make the island look nice and raise your island rating. There's no end game to it at all, so you just keep playing as everything takes place in real time. You can pretty much do all your little virtual chores in about 30 minutes, which is digging up 4 to maybe 5 fossils, hitting all 6 rocks to get stone, clay, and iron, maybe gold will drop, and one of the 6 rocks will dispense money. You could collect tree branches and pull out weeds, chop down trees for wood, you can water flowers, and that's about it. Getting money is actually pretty easy. You can buy turnips every Sunday morning to turn around and sell for a profit. If, and only if, the game doesn't screw you over with turnip prices. I've only had prices of $4.80 twice, and that's in the 3 months that I've been playing the game. Most of the time, they're in the low double digits, like 28 bells. And you could tell that this is done just so that you go to other people's islands to visit them because there's really no other reason to visit them other than to exchange things for things you don't have. You could get do-it-yourself cards so you could build your own furniture. Either they're given to you by villagers, found in bottles that wash up on the shore of your beaches, or from presents on balloons. You could build a campsite so this way you'll get visitors, and if you have an open plot for a house, you could ask them to move in if you want to keep them. Otherwise, you'll get random villagers moving in and out. You can make your own patterns, symbols, and shirts too. Eventually, when you make your island nice enough, KK Slider will come and visit you, which will then give you the Island Designer app where you can terraform the island to your liking, getting rid of or creating mountains and rivers. You can also move the shops, museum, and other houses even before you get the Designer app, but you'll probably won't move or demolish anything until you get that ability, so you're not wasting time and money moving stuff. Because you can only move, demolish, and build one thing at a time. So you have to wait until 5 a.m. the next day before you can do any of those 3 things again. Animal Crossing New Horizons needs several, and I mean several, quality of life changes. You can only craft things with items in your pocket, which makes no sense if you're in your house. So you have to go into your house storage, pull out the crafting materials, then go to your workbench to make the item. And you can only make 1 item at a time. It would be nice to be able to go, I have this many materials, I can make so many of that item, let me make that many items at once. Or have a timer bar that fills so this way you're not mashing the A button to build faster, and then having to tell the game to keep crafting. The do-it-yourself recipes have a terrible drop rate. I've gotten so many duplicates of items that I can already craft, and no one that I know or in Discord servers that I'm in has the do-it-yourself recipes that I need. It's rather annoying that you have to go outside the game and find other players just so you could trade items. It would be better to have an in-game auction house where players can buy or trade items with each other more easily. Something along the lines of how the Pokemon Home app works. The Island Designer app is also incredibly annoying. You can only do 1 square at a time. You can only build or demolish 1 square cliff at a time or 1 river square at a time. You can manipulate it in a way so that you can demolish 3 squares at a time, but it takes just as much time as it would to remove them normally. It would be so much easier to draw a pattern, have it made or destroyed, and then tweak it one square at a time so this way you make it into the shape that you want. You cannot even get rid of the mouths of rivers. You're stuck with them. You're also stuck with wherever you plant residential services, which is a really dumb oversight on Nintendo's part because you don't know how you're going to want your island to look until you get further into the game. I am hoping that there's going to be an update to fix that. And I get that it's supposed to be a take it slow type of thing, which is fine, but eventually it wears on your patience. I have been playing the game since my birthday at the end of March, and while I've been fine with the pace, but as I'm getting my island to look how I like it to be, I'm now getting roadblock. But that's if you play it legitimately, in the manner that the game is meant to be played. You can go into your system settings, turn off internet time and date sync, and start changing the dates so this way you could play the game faster. However, if you do go this time travel route, you will be closing and loading the game constantly. I only time traveled once, and that was because someone came to my island and picked all my flowers. They grow back in 2 days, so I just moved the system time 2 days forward, and then 2 days back and everything was back to normal. It would be nice to be able to pay Tom Nook for faster building or layout changes. The game throws money at you, so why not be able to pay for faster services? Maybe even a gardening service to make plants grow faster. At time of writing, I'm sitting on over 8 million bells, and I have nothing to buy or anything else to use them on. And finally, the internet features are way too archaic. These are features that would have been too archaic for 1983. To get to someone's island, you need to either be friends with them or have a dodo code if the person is a stranger. But first, the person has to have their gates open, meaning connected to the internet. If you try to get to someone, they cannot be in the Island Designer app, and they cannot be talking to anyone, and they cannot be using their Nook phone, otherwise you get quote-unquote interference, and you have to keep trying until they stop going through their menus or their conversation. Why is this a thing? This feels like shoddy programming. Imagine if you were trying to log into an MMORPG and you couldn't because someone was talking to an NPC. And that's not just the island owner. If they have other players doing things in menus or talking to NPCs, they'll cause interference too. When someone is coming to an island, you get frozen in place, and a message says that someone is coming, and then it forces you to watch them arrive, which is a screen with 5 dots to show their progress of them coming in. And this could take a while too, depending on someone's connection. And then you have to watch them come through the airport. And when they go to leave, you become frozen in place again and get the messages that saying that someone is leaving, and then you watch them leave through the airport. But if someone is talking to a person or using their Nook phone, you can't leave because of interference. It is absolutely dumb that the game is like this for its internet features, especially for a game that encourages you to play with other people. And I think you can get up to 8 people to visit on an island. There's been times where it took me 30 minutes for a quick round trip because other players are talking to NPCs or using their phones. This needs to be fixed because it only discourages people from playing together. Now, I have put in quite a few hours into the game though, and by quite a few, I mean I don't know how many, but it was a lot. And I do enjoy it, but for every positive, there's a negative. I like the gathering and building of things. I like designing my island and making it look nice. I like growing and crossbreeding flowers to make gardens. But all the things that slow me down from getting my island to look the way that I want it to look gets annoying as it starts to feel like those mobile games that prevent you from playing unless you pay them to speed things up. Except there's no way to speed things up here unless you cheat by time traveling. The game feels not optimized well too. When I select the game, there's a long loading screen followed by the title. Then there's another loading screen, and it's even longer if Isabel is going to tell you about the day, which most of the time, it's nothing. And it even does this when you manually save and go back to the title screen. The game also kills my Switch's battery faster than Pokemon Sword, and also Pokemon Sword loads up almost instantly when compared to this game. And I downloaded this game from the Nintendo eShop. My Pokemon Sword is a cartridge. But Animal Crossing New Horizons feels like a few steps forward with several steps back. Not because of added features, but how those new features were implemented. It is an addictive game, but only if you ignore certain features and stick with playing single player in maybe 30 to an hour bursts a day.